Hello, everyone. We are so excited that you're with us today. And we have Robin Gordon, and she is the Mainline's #1 real estate agent. She works in center city of Philadelphia, all the way out to the suburbs. I got a chance to talk with her for a couple of minutes before, and she is an Eagles fan. And I'm a Washington fan. So the only thing I don't like about her is that she's an Eagles fan. I'm just joking. But we are so glad you're here. Robin,
Wait,
welcome.
can you tell me the coach of the Washington team?
You know, I don't even know now. I've got to look it up.
Okay.
Can't
All right.
remember.
It's okay. I just have this feeling I sold him a house, which is ironic.
Well, so the reason why I'm such a big fan of the Washington now Commanders when they were the Redskins is because I grew up with Joe Gibbs. My entire neighborhood, it was Joe Gibbs, Mark Mosley. I mean, I knew every player, every stat, every person that was there. So I think is it Ron Rivera? Is that it? You guys can type it in the chat if that's who the coach is. I think that's who the coach is now.
Yeah, so I don't know a whole lot about football, but it was Andy Reid, and Andy Reid used to be the coach of the Eagles, and I had worked with him on his housing transactions in this area.
Oh,
But I
wow.
think
That's
with
awesome.
the Buffalo Bill, I can't remember. I'm not that much, I do love the Eagles, but yeah, anyway.
But I think Andy Reid is still or is he not still the coach there? I don't know.
No, he's not. But he's with the team that won the last two.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
last two championships. So anyway, sorry.
All right, well, let's get into it. I know Andy Reid's the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Okay,
so since we don't know that much about football, we need to talk more about real estate. So I want you to talk about just kind of start of kind of when you first started, what you did to kind of gain so much traffic and so much business and now being #1 in your area.
So the good thing that I had going for me when I started was that I was an investment banker for almost a decade. So I was structuring equity and debt financing for income producing real estate all around the country. So every week I was on an airplane from when I came out of graduate school at Penn for the next 10 years, flying to Florida, California, Texas, this and that. I got married and moved to suburban, what we call the main line in Philadelphia. And I didn't want to get on an airplane anymore. I wanted to start a family. So my husband said, why don't you sell real estate locally? You have a broker's license, you have a Series 7. So I walked into a local real estate office and they were like, come, because I had a financial background and I was from the area. So I think I from that standpoint, I wasn't coming from a different career path. It was always been real estate. But I was dealing with more income based versus psychologically emotional, it's the psychology of the sale when you're in residential real estate, just because there's so many, it's just a whole different mindset than looking at an income return. So, but I was even then, I was, I got a couple leads from friends and family. I started to send these little postcards to like an entire community. And then I would get one lead and then another lead. And I did it on a very small scale basis. But my husband was watching me, chip away at the business. And he said, you know what, our family business is being sold. He did the marketing and was the accountant for his family business. And he goes, you know what, I can help you. And he learned about the marketing and really helped me to expand it in a more professional way. I was like hand printing little postcards at the time. And my husband brought it to another level where we were doing it very professionally and finding, areas that we wanted to farm. And he really brought me very quickly to I think we've been in the top 10 for the last close to 20 years. So in the BHS net, Berkshire Hathaway network, I think we're like 20 something, out of, the Wall Street Journal stats. But, it's a lot of hard work and consistency. I mean, if you are going to do direct mail pieces, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to keep doing them for months and months before you get a return.
So let's first just start with talking about answering your phone. So one of the things that you said is you said something along the lines of, I'm going to, like, no matter what, you are known for picking up your phone at all costs. Like, and to me, what's happening with agents right now is there's this new mentality of like, I'll call them back later or text me, but they're not answering the phone. What's your opinion on that? And why do you think that makes you so successful?
What makes me so different from almost every single agent in my market, I'm writing a book called Pick It Up. I answer my phone to a fault. And when I answer the phone, people, I can't tell you how many times they'll say, oh my God, this is Robin Gordon. I'm like, yeah, I picked my phone up. You don't need to go through 10 admins or, 10 different phone numbers. You have my cell. You can call me day or night. And that's what I say to a fault, because sometimes I don't turn my phone off after 10 p.m. But I have to say that the comments that I've gotten from sellers, from buyers about the promptness of me getting back to them and answering my phone is a big part of the success in my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that people don't realize how important that is. And you get a reputation of, there's either people who, it's kind of like trying to reach the president of the United States, getting a hold of them. And then there's other people who, when you call them, they are going to pick up the phone. And that's who I want to work with. And I will tell you, I don't know an agent who is that on top of it and is always answering their phone, that they're not super, super busy, because people want that. People want someone who's on the ball.
Yeah.
So tell
that's
us
available.
Yeah. So one of the features we have agents do that with our company is it is so easy to do direct mail. They literally can. We have a program called Breakthrough Broker that we pay for all of our agents. And literally within 3 clicks, they can say, boom, 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 I want to mail out. And they give them templates of how to do direct mail. So I want you to talk about that, because I think that, direct mail is really, really expensive. And the question is, nobody, like for me, we're at the point where we literally might check our mail once every 3 or 4 days. That's how little we're checking our mail. Like, we're not like, oh my gosh, hurry up, let's go check our mail. We spend way more time on Facebook than we would ever checking our mail. So do you think that direct mail is out, or no, you like it, and why?
So that's a very good question. And since COVID, I do think that it is not as effective, the direct mail. I'm doing a lot of videos on TikTok and on Facebook and on Instagram. I have gotten listings from that. I'm also finding, because of the low inventory, that, for example, if I have a community and I have a client looking to buy in that community, I'll send letters to the community to see if anybody's interested in selling. So those kind of messages, like my message from my postcards were to give a free home value analysis. That was what I was offering, and showing them pictures of recent sales that we've done, with the, sold over asking, did this, but our postcards are very high end, very professional. But I do believe, and I think you are right, I think people are like email blasts. I think I have a $5 million listing that we just put on this week, and we're having a big event tomorrow night, which I'm getting ready for. And we did a blast inviting brokers and buyers and sent it to our entire email list. And I've gotten 4 phone calls from the email blast about this house. So there's, so the postcards are really for getting listings. This email blast and some of my videos are more for buyers.
So what would you say is the cheapest way for you to get listings? Like, I think direct mail is probably one of the more expensive ways to do it, and it does take time. If you said, like, right now, listings are king, what do you need to do to get listings at the cheapest price that they have? What would you do? If your inventory was 0, you needed to get more listings, what would you do?
I would probably do the letters. Just, it's not like the whole fancy dancy direct mail piece, but put together a letter to a specific farming area that you like, to say, I have a buyer. They're looking in your community. Would you be interested in selling? That is going to make your phone ring.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. And actually, I've got a whole stack of Sharpies right here. We did this a while back and it worked so effectively. All we did, if you take a pretty thick Sharpie marker and you put it on and you write something really personal. Hey there, I have a buyer for your home. I have a potential buyer for your home. I really want to talk to you. Can you call me ASAP? Like, sign your name just on literally a white sheet of paper. Then hit photocopy. Unprofessional. Get a teenager to handwrite and farm it to a neighborhood. Your phone will blow up. See, I think that method, if you want like a really quick method, use the breakthrough broker plan that we have. And if you guys don't know the training program on that, I'll have a link for that for you. But the easiest way, if your time is really valuable, you hit 3 clicks, you pick some neighborhoods and boom, send it out. But you've got to do it over and over again. If you have some teenagers or have some help, that method right there will work to get you listings. Just take a blank piece of paper, thick Sharpie marker, make photocopies, and then send it out. That's a great way. What else?
So when you get the phone call, by the way, and they'll say, well, have they seen my particular house? And I will say, no, but they've identified certain streets and homes that they're interested in.
Okay, let's do a role play. Hold on. I want you to pretend like you're talking to me. So I called you. I just got your flyer. Do you have someone really who wants to buy my home? Now, what are you saying?
So I say I could, and I do. However, they've identified streets and homes that are interesting to them, but I can't see the inside of your home to know the condition and what you've done to the home. Maybe you've done nothing, maybe you've done a ton. And so I would love to come take a tour. Would that be okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then I make a rapport with the seller, and I've had, I don't know, like a dozen at least, where we've done it with these letters, where I go in and see the home and they don't even ask me about my buyer. We just connect and they're like, yeah, we really are thinking of selling. and I would never lie and not have a buyer. I mean, I have the way our team is structured. I'm the team lead. I, with my husband, primarily do listings, and the agents on my team are primarily buyers agents. So we give our buyer agents all the buyer leads, unless someone really, really wants to work with just me or my husband, Michael. So between my buyers agents telling me what they're looking for and the people they're working with, it's not like I'm shooting the door. I mean, there are agents out there where they have a bad reputation of sending letters like this and they have no buyers at all. I don't ever find that the case, because between my team and myself, we have a buyer for the house. But if it doesn't work and I get in there and I see the condition, I'll say, well, thank you very much. I don't think it fits. The inside doesn't fit the outside of what my buyer's looking for, but thank you so much for letting me come tour your home.
I want to tell you, one of the reasons why I joined and I just love Canzel is that I can get 100% commission, I get revenue share, and I get stock. I am making thousands of dollars every single month in revenue share and stocks. And I now don't have to work nights and weekends on real estate anymore. You know, I've actually never been to a real estate agent's retirement party, and I want to be the first one that people are coming to at a young age. And I want to share with you some of my favorite resources. So if you go to joincanzel.com/free, there's a couple that I want you to download. One is a 20 free lead generating PDF. It's going to help you generate leads for free that you can download, as well as there's one on how to double your business. I don't want you to miss it. Go download it today. joincanzel.com/free.
Yes. So, but then right then, what would you do to try to get them to list your home, the home with you?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, for me at this point in my career, I mean, I walk down the street, people know me, like just because I'm a local yokel, and they're like, "Oh, I've seen you before." So oh, I'm so sorry, somebody just called in on my phone. So we have a listing package, booklet, which shows all the properties. Let's say I'm going to make this up, an area like Lower Merion Township. We have a booklet that shows all the homes that we have listed in that area from 2022 to today. I'll have some paperwork with me about myself, and how we it's a sort of a listing package I'll have with me, we have it specific for the specific areas, because different townships where we are totally different, but we do them all.
Are you working with, because had a lot of agents work with Facebook Marketplace, because there's a lot of people now posting their homes and they're trying to sell their homes on their own, either on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, just because it's easy. They're often in the early stages of selling. They might be testing the market, but it's a great place to find seller leads for you to call them and still do the script. So what would you do
Wow.
if you were doing a for sale by owner? Maybe you were driving by. Tell me a script that you would use for a for sale by owner.
Well, probably the same way as these letters I'm talking about. I may have a buyer for your home. I need to see the inside. And I'd really just try and strike up a relationship with the person, and try and, talk about myself. I mean, obviously you always want to ask whoever you're meeting with about themselves, and, just to set up a relationship, but, somehow weave in, the amount of business that we do in that area and how many homes we've sold. And also, a market of one is not a market. And the way to get the highest price is to widely market your home professionally. And, I don't think that a seller that's doing a FSBO is going to get the same effectiveness as with a real estate agent.
I love that. Say that again about the market of one.
So a market of one doesn't make a market. You want to put it out to the world out there and widely market it. And when you widely market, that's when you'll know what the true market value is and get the highest price. So I don't think a for sale by owner can do the reach that we can as professionals.
Yeah, that's
even
really
though there's Zillow and all that stuff, there's more to it than that, so much more.
Zillow has something where if it's called Make Me Move on Zillow, and there's a lot of different sites out there that are called, they now are copying that, where it's called Make Me Move. And if you go on there, those are usually sellers who aren't really listing their house. They're just saying, would you sell the house if given the right price?
Make me move price.
Yeah, the Make Me Move price. I did a post, you guys, one time. I have to get the exact words for it. And I said something like, if you got $10,000 more than what you thought your home was worth, would you sell? or something like that. It was just that. That's all I put a post of. And I think I put a picture of me doing this, and that's it. You guys have to try it. And then I'd said something like, comment me if you're willing, if you would do it. We got, I'm telling you, probably 60 or 80 people that said, yeah, if I got $10,000 more, then this whole idea of this make me move, right? Like, I'm not really interested in selling, but if you gave me more than what I thought I was going to get, I would be willing to move. Just that post, try that on Facebook. It will really generate some.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, it really works. I need to go back and look because it was a while ago that I did that. And it was a really, like, I got
Good
tons of
post.
people, me. And one of the things that I say this all the time, but I'd love for you to give any tips on Facebook. I see agents and I literally want to just strangle their neck because they're putting we offer something called KV Core to all of our agents. And in my opinion, I've tried everyone. I've tried Boomtown. I've tried this. KV Core, hands down the best. But even though KV Core is great, I see people putting the MLS link in their Facebook post, and Facebook hates to send anywhere anyone else. So you cannot put any links in your post. Otherwise, Facebook will literally shut it down and no one will see it. Give us your best tips for Facebook and some of the things that have given you a really high return on Facebook for some of the properties. Maybe even some tips for someone who really is looking for leads, maybe doesn't have a lot of listings right now, and they can't like post information about their listings. What would you recommend them to do?
So, recently on some of our listings, if there's an architect or a designer that did them, we interview them. And I did a post and it was on TikTok. It was an architect, and maybe if you even don't even have the listing, but you can talk to a local architect or designer and interview them about something, maybe some design trend or whatever. I had 60,000 views on it. Was crazy. It went viral, this one particular one, and I wasn't even in the video. It briefly in the video. It was mainly this architect, and people just loved it, absolutely loved it. And I got 2 buyer calls from that post. And now I did post this past week on paint colors, my opinion on paint colors and how it's trending away from gray, going more into the cool tones and white. And I don't know, I get like 8,000 views. I mean, it was a good post. So my posts typically, I'm still working on this, are getting like 500 to 1,000, but and I'm just, talking about different aspects of the real estate transaction, whether it's negotiations, whether it's, giving people information, simple information they love, so.
One of the things that we have done that is really, really beneficial, and I saw somebody who was redoing their driveway. They pulled up, the driveway was fine. It's one of a neighbor right next door to mine, and their driveway was fine. For some reason, someone talked into getting a new driveway, and I was thinking, if I would put out a video that said something like this: "Hey guys, I am here, and look, this person is putting a new driveway in. Do you think that this is to get more value for your home?" Absolutely not. Nobody comes in and says, "Oh my gosh, they just spent $30,000 on this brand new driveway. I'm going to spend $30,000 more for this home." Before you do a single repair on your house, call me and I will tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I had a friend who, she was adamant on painting her house. It didn't even need to be painted, but she wanted to repaint the whole house. And the person after her ended up painting all these wackadoodle colors. And that's like, she ended up spending like $10,000 to repaint the house when already it was neutral. There was no reason to spend it. But if you can get people to call you first, give us some ideas of different things like that you're doing, of giving people tips on the real estate transaction. So they go, yeah, I do want to call you before I spend money doing this, that, or the other.
Well, when I go on the listing appointments, they always want to know, like, what is my opinion? What do we need to do? And, declutter, depersonalize is the two biggest staging, rules. I do think paint is your biggest return on investment. If there are weird colors and it isn't neutral, I usually recommend painting, especially if it's been abused by children or dogs or whatever. But usually the sellers are asking me my opinion when I, walk through room by room. And then if they list with us, we have a stager that we pay for who creates like a checklist. She doesn't actually do the staging, but she goes through room by room with a checklist of move this sofa here or take this picture down here, and it's not about redecorating. It's really purely for staging. Not only inside the house, but the outside is also important because that's your first look, and, making sure your front door is not all, peeling and in bad shape. That's the first impression that you have. So, I'm trying to think of what else.
Well, we're out of time. So this has been amazing. And I do want to tell you one tip. If you guys are paying something for someone for them to put Facebook posts on your Facebook page, that is a complete waste of time. Nobody is doing that. You either have to hire a person and give them your login and have them do it for you. But having these other programs and paying them to put generic posts on your feed is never going to work. That is not going to get you more. Yeah, that's like throwing money out the door for sure. So tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
So you can always call me on my phone.
And she'll answer.
610-246-2280. My email is robin@robingordon.com. And we're called the Robin Gordon Group. And we're part of Berkshire Hathaway. And I'm happy to talk with anybody and give any advice that I can.
Oh, well, you are so sweet. Thank you so much for joining us. And we appreciate your time today.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.